Hi everybody. In this syllabus overview video, we just want to take a few minutes to discuss the requirements for this course and what you can expect out of it. And so as we walk through this syllabus, you can review this information as you need, but we do at least want to cover it a little bit in detail. All right? First up is the mission statement of NOBTS, which is to prepare servants to walk with Christ, proclaim His truth, and fulfill His mission, of which this course helps to fulfill that mission. Okay, we also have the course description. I'm not going to read the whole course description. It's available to you. I do want to highlight the prerequisites for this course are interpreting the Old Testament 1 and 2. We want to make sure you have a good working knowledge of the Old Testament and its backgrounds so that you can fit Psalms within its proper context of what's going on within the larger framework of Scripture. Okay, so I'll let you look over that course description. No need for me to read that out loud to you. We do want to cover the student learning outcomes, however. All right, these are the things that we want you to be able to do by the end of the semester. First up, understand the background and the critical issues of the book of Psalms. This is for any biblical book, but especially the Psalms. They are unique, and so the uniqueness of this book means we need to cover that information in detail. We also want to be able to discern theological themes in the book of Psalms. This is immensely important for both private and corporate worship, okay? There is hardly any book in the Bible that is as theologically rich as the book of Psalms, because it is Israel's response to her God and God's actions in history. And so we see the people's response to that. And because of that, it's an immensely theological book. All right, we want to understand basic features of biblical poetry. This includes the nature of biblical poetry, parallelism, metaphor. All right, so we're going to cover issues like that. And then also, we want for you to be able to use the Psalms in both personal and corporate worship. So that's what you should be able to do by the end of the semester. Now we'll take a look at the course textbooks. First up, we want you to be able to read through the Psalms in a modern English translation. That includes the ESV, the NRSV, NIV, whatever your preferred translation is. I would also recommend maybe 2 other translations to read through, especially in the Psalms, because it's poetry and the unique vocabulary. Sometimes you get different interpretations of how things should be read. So spot check some other translations as you read through. I promise it'll be eye-opening for you, okay? Our other textbooks for this course include Hassel Bullock's Encountering the Book of Psalms, the 2nd edition. This is a literary and theological introduction to the book of Psalms. So it covers the 2 areas we really want to highlight in this course, all right? And you're going to be reading from this every week. And then we have a commentary assigned to you. This is Tremper Longman's Psalms, Introduction and Commentary from the Tyndale series. It's in 2 volumes, volumes 15 and 16. So as we read through these Psalms, make sure you're using commentary as a resource, okay? Tremper Longman is a great Old Testament scholar. He has several books published, more than just these 2 volumes. And so I would highly recommend using this as a resource to you. And then we have Robert Alter, The Art of Biblical Poetry. And this book is going to highlight all the nuances of biblical poetry that can be found in Psalms and throughout the Old Testament. So this is going to be a helpful resource for you. All right, those are our course texts. So what are we going to do in this course? Well, the course is going to involve several things. Most of it is going to be delivered to you through reading, recorded lectures, and assignments given on Canvas. All right, those assignments include weekly reading and lecture reports. We'll give those in more detail in just a moment. Some devotions that you're going to be writing. All right, exams, discussion boards, and some other written assignments we'll cover. So those are the basic course methodology to provide what you need so we can fulfill those course outcomes. All right, so what are these course requirements? What are we going to be doing? All right, so here's the assignments. Weekly reading and lecture reports. All right, so every week you need to submit a reading and lecture report to show that you have been reading and watching the lectures. All right, this gives you a chance to interact with the information that you've given for each week of the course. In total, these are going to be worth 25% of your final grade. And these are going to be in the form of 3 questions that you'll need to answer every week, okay? Psalms devotions. All right, you're going to write 4 devotions on Psalms. Each devotion should be 500 to 1,000 words. Okay, and what we're going to be doing with these is, over the course of these 4 devotions, we're covering different genres in the Psalms. So praise and lament and hymns and wisdom are the 4 categories. So when you get to these assignments, what you'll have is a list of about 5 or 6 Psalms that you may choose from, and you're going to create a devotion on these. These devotions should be written toward a broad readership, so think congregation or maybe in published literature, but you need to be using the tools gained in this course to write those devotions, okay? And then we have a book review. So Robert Alter's The Art of Biblical Poetry, you're going to be reviewing in 1,500 to 2,000 words. There is a rubric available in the Canvas shell, so you can see the requirements of what we're expecting. And it's going to be due in Unit 9. So that's the week right after midterms. So you've got a little while to be reading this book, but make sure you are at least reading it a little bit every week so that you stay up on the reading, okay? Discussion boards. Students are going to write 2, just 2, in Units 5 and 7. And each of these discussion board posts should be 500 to 750 words. There are prompts for you to follow with questions so that you have a specific topic that you'll be writing on. Once you make a post, then you should go read somebody else's, 2 somebody else's actually, and post on theirs. So what we want is for you to post your thoughts and your reactions to the prompts, and then go read other people's and interact with them. Please stay courteous on these discussion boards, but feel free to agree or disagree with someone's interpretation or their answer to a question. We just want to give you the opportunity to interact with your fellow students. This is going to be worth 5% of your final grade. There's a midterm exam in Unit 8 that's going to cover all the material from Units 1 to 7, worth 15% of your final grade, and it is going to be an objective exam, meaning multiple choice, short answer, matching, and a essay question at the end. Okay, so that is just to check halfway through to make sure that we are staying up on all of the material. And then you will have a final research paper, 10 to 12 pages, double-spaced in full Turabian format. The only 2 things you aren't going to need is a table of contents and a title page. But everything else should have footnotes, headings, bibliography, and be properly formatted. Now, you could choose to do an exegesis paper on a particular psalm or group of psalms, or you could choose to do a topic from the Psalms. That topic can be theological themes in the Psalms, like creation. The topic can also be Hebrew poetry and say something like how the Psalms talk about God in metaphorical language. What you need to do is kind of start to get an idea for your paper and run it by the instructor before Unit 8. Okay, you need to have your topic cleared by midterm so that you can start working and researching on the paper. Now, a breakdown of all these assignments are as follows. 25% for your weekly reports, 20% for the devotions, 5% for your discussion boards, 15% for the book review, 15% for the exam, and 20% for the final research paper. Now, we do have some other information contained in the syllabus. I do want to cover that very quickly. There's technical assistance available to you. In particular, I want to draw your attention to Canvas at nobts.edu. If you run into issues with Canvas, contact your professor, but they're probably going to direct you to Canvas. Contact Canvas at nobts.edu and make sure you keep your professor in the loop, okay? Writing assistance, that's also available to you. We have a writing center here on campus. You can send things into them to have them look at writing samples that will help you write better papers. So that's a resource that is also available to you. And then finally, just a note on plagiarism. Please don't. Okay? Most of your written assignments are going to be checked for plagiarism through Turnitin. And so make sure that you're properly citing your sources, using quotation marks, and not borrowing from any previous work, okay? We want your intellectual property to be your own. That is it for this syllabus overview. If you have any questions, make sure you email your instructor to get clarification on anything that you may have questions about. But in all, that should cover all the information in the syllabus that is available to you through the PDF document or through the syllabus page in Canvas.